Every major shift in global power begins the same way, with something that seems manageable. A trade dispute, a diplomatic tension, a minor realignment that officials call temporary. And then the system reveals what it actually is. Not stable, not resilient, barely held together by agreements that only work when no one tests them. On January 21st, 2026, something happened that most people dismissed as political theatre. The European Union suspended a trade agreement with the United States worth $1.7 trillion annually. Not because of economics. Not because of tariffs or regulations or market access disputes. Because the President of the United States threatened military action against an ally's territory. The agreement that died that day wasn't just paperwork. It was the framework for the largest integrated market in human history. 850 million people. $45 trillion in combined economic output. 90% of goods moving between two regions with reduced or eliminated tariffs. It took 7 years to negotiate. It died in one night. And while Washington and Brussels were locked in crisis, while NATO held emergency sessions, while $1.7 trillion in trade froze solid, someone else was watching very carefully. Beijing. Because what just happened is exactly what China has been waiting for. The thing they couldn't accomplish through military pressure or economic coercion or diplomatic maneuvering. The fracturing of the Western alliance. This isn't about one trade deal. This isn't about one diplomatic crisis. This is about the end of the post-World War II order. And it's happening faster than anyone thought possible. Let me show you what empires look like when they start to break. The surface event seems simple enough. President Trump wanted control of Greenland. Denmark said no. Trump threatened military force. European leaders said that would end NATO. Trade negotiations collapsed. A framework deal was eventually reached to paper over the crisis. Crisis averted. Everyone moves on. Except that's not how systems fail. Systems fail when trust erodes. When partners start building contingencies for a future where the alliance might not exist. When the calculation changes from we in this together to what happens if they turn on us next. And that calculation just changed across every Western capital. European strategic planners are now building scenarios where the United States can't be trusted. Not because of ideology. Because of demonstrated behavior. Because the President of the United States threatened military action against Danish territory over rare earth minerals and Arctic access. The specific demand doesn't matter. The precedent does. Because if America will threaten Denmark, who won't they threaten? Japan just found out. On January 6, 2026, China cut off rare earth exports to Japan. 14 lines of text in a bureaucratic directive. No drama. No press conference. Just an export ban on 17 metallic elements that make modern technology possible. Within 72 hours, Japan's stock market lost $2.5 billion in value. Within 3 weeks, economic forecasters calculated $4.2 billion in direct damage if the ban lasts 3 months. $16.5 billion if it lasts a year. This is what leverage looks like in the 21st century. Not aircraft carriers. Not economic sanctions. Not military blockades. Control over 17 elements most people have never heard of. China controls 70% of global rare earth production, 90% of processing capacity, 100% of heavy rare earths used in American defense systems. Every F-35 fighter jet requires 420 kilograms of rare earth materials. Every guided missile. Every advanced radar system. Every Virginia-class submarine. The entire American military-industrial complex is built on a foundation of materials that China produces, processes, and controls. And when the next crisis over Taiwan comes, China won't need to fire a shot. They'll just do to America what they just did to Japan. Cut off supply and watch military production grind to halt. This is the pattern. This is what happens when empires overextend. When they assume the systems that made them powerful will continue functioning indefinitely. When they can't imagine a world where access becomes weaponized. History has seen this before.